In this video, I will show you how to write the equation of a line given various types of information. So we're going to be using the model y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So if I say write the equation of a line that has slope 4 and goes through the point 3, 2, here's what you do. I'm actually going to do this off to the side because I don't feel there was enough space for my method. All right, because my method goes like this. You write a chart where the first column is for the slope, which we know is m, and the second column is for the y-intercept, which we call b. And then the third column is for the answer, the equation. Now, when you go to write your equation, y equals mx plus b shows up like this. It's going to be y equals something x plus something. Okay? Where that first box is for your slope and the second box is for your y-intercept. So, looking back at the information, the problem says write the equation of a line that has slope 4. So in this case, they just gave us the slope. So right away I know that m is 4. So now I need to find the y-intercept. They did not give me the y-intercept. Instead, they gave me the point 3, 2. So here's what you do. Use the model y equals mx plus b. Now, we know the m, that's 4. We're looking for b. That means we need a y, an m, and an x. Since we already have m, all we need is an x and a y. Well, that's what this point is for. Every point is in the form x comma y. So y is 2 and x is 3. So that's why, right here where it says y, I'm going to put the 2. And then the m is the 4, and the x is the 3. So we have everything except for b. All right, so you see I put the 3, 2, I put the 3 in for x and the 2 in for the y. So we have everything except for b. So we should be able to solve for b very easily. So this is going to give us 2 is equal to 12 plus b. And if we subtract 12 from both sides, that gives us negative 10 is equal to b. So we were given the slope, and now we have the y-intercept. So those two things can just get filled in here and here. So the slope is 4, and the y-intercept is negative 10. So the final answer is going to be y equals 4x minus 10. Notice that we do not write plus negative 10. We just put minus 10. So that's the answer to number 1. Okay? I call this the chart method, and I recommend that you use it. Okay, let's go on to problem number 2. This time we're given 2 points, but again, I am going to use the chart method because that is what I love to do. Okay, so here comes my chart method, and it's going to be slope m, y-intercept b, and equation. Okay, and when I go to write the equation, it's going to be y is equal to something x plus something, where the first box will be for the slope, which I will calculate here, and the second box will be for the y-intercept, which I will calculate here. So the chart method really just walks you through the process. So here, they've given me 2 points. The way you can calculate the slope when you're given 2 points is you do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Y minus y over x minus x. So in this case, that's going to be 2 minus 4 over negative 9 minus negative 3. Notice the double negative there. Be very careful. When both things are negative, when you subtract, you're going to have this double negative because it's negative 9 minus negative 3. Okay? And that's important because when you subtract a negative, it becomes addition. So this is going to be like having 2 minus 4 over negative 9 plus 3. All right? Minus a negative is addition. So that's going to give me, let's see, 2 minus 4 is negative 2. And negative 9 plus 3, that's negative 6. Okay? So a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 2 over 6 reduces down to 1 over 3. So the slope is 1/3. Okay, so now I've got the slope. So I really could go ahead and fill that in my box right now. All right, so there's my slope. So now all I need is the y-intercept, which goes right here. Okay, now here's how you calculate the y-intercept. I'm going to do it just like I did before. I'm going to start by writing y equals mx plus b, and then understand that what I'm looking for is b. That means I need to have y, m, and x. Where will I get x and y from? Well, I'm going to get it from one of these points. So last time I just had 1 point, and I used the x and the y. Now I have 2 points. So you just have to choose which one of these you're going to use. It doesn't matter. You'll get the same answer either way. So I'm going to pick this point right here. And so remember, this is x and this is y. So that's why I'm going to put in 4 for y and negative 3 for x right now. Okay, so I'm going to put 4 for y. M is 1/3. Okay, and here comes that negative 3, and then plus b. Okay, so I should now be able to solve this for b. So this is going to give me 4 is equal to, this is like having negative 3 over 1, so this is really like negative 3 over 3 plus b. So that means 4 is equal to negative 1 plus b, and then if I add 1 to both sides, that gives me 5. So b is equal to 5. So that means 5 goes here. So that means my final answer is going to be y is equal to 1/3 x plus 5. Kabam! That's the answer to number 2. Problem number 3. Write the equation of a line that has slope negative 1/4 and goes through the point negative 4, comma 5. So they're giving us the slope and a point. So once again, I'm going to use my chart method. All right, this time it looks like they left me enough space that I can do it right here. So I'm going to do it right here. So I need slope m, and then I need y-intercept b. All right, that's plenty of space. And then I can write the equation. All right, and the equation is going to go y is equal to something x plus something. The first box is the slope, and the second box is the y-intercept. So first, let's find the slope. Well, they gave me the slope right away. So the slope is negative 1/4. They just gave me that. So I can go ahead and put negative 1/4 in right now. So now all I need is the y-intercept, which is b. And the way I do that is I go y equals mx plus b, and I am looking for b right now. So that means I need y, m, and x. Well, guess what? This is x and this is y. So I'm going to start with the 5 because that's y. So I have 5 equals. M is negative 1/4. All right, we know that. X is negative 4. So that just leaves b. Okay, remember this is like having negative 4 over 1. So now I will have 5 is equal to 4 over 4 plus b. A negative times negative is a positive. And so that means I have 5 is equal to 1 plus b. Subtracting 1 from both sides, that gives me 4 is equal to b. So b is 4. So I can go ahead and put 4 in my equation. So that means my answer is simply y is equal to negative 1/4 x plus 4. All right, that's the answer for number 3. Okay, problem number 4. Line B has this equation. Line C is perpendicular to line B and goes through this point. We need to find the equation of line C. Now, the key word here is perpendicular. So we need to stop and talk about how the slopes of perpendicular lines work. Okay, so just real quick off to the side. If I have two lines that are perpendicular, first please understand that perpendicular lines form a 90-degree angle, so that's what perpendicular means. Let's say that this is line A and this is line B. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite and reciprocal. Opposite and reciprocal. So look at this little chart I'm about to make. These are slopes. So let's talk about the slope of line A compared with the slope of line B. Okay? Let's say the slope of line A is 2/3. What would be the slope of line B, which is perpendicular? It has to be opposite and reciprocal. So if line A has a positive slope, line B will have a negative slope. That's the opposite part. And then, of course, reciprocal means we turn the fraction upside down. So instead of 2/3, it would be 3/2. So if line A had slope 2/3, then line B has slope negative 3/2. Okay, what if line A had slope 5? Okay, then line B would have a negative slope. The reciprocal of 5 is 1/5. Okay, so it would be negative 1/5. Okay, what if I told you that the slope of line B was negative 1/4? Okay, what would you say then? Well, the slope of line A would have to be positive. The reciprocal of 1/4, you might think 4/1, but if there's a 1 in the bottom, I don't need it. So I won't ever say 4/1, I will just say 4. Okay, so all of these pairs are opposite and reciprocal from each other. Okay, let's do one more. Say if line A had slope of 1/3. Then line B would have a negative slope, and again the reciprocal of 1/3 is 3, and we don't say 3/1, just 3. So there you go. So that's how perpendicular slopes match up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set up my chart like I always do. But understand this, when they give you a perpendicular line, they're just indirectly giving you slope. All right? All you have to do is use this pattern to come up with the slope of the line that you want. So let's do what we always do. and make the chart. So we will have slope m, and then we will have the y-intercept b, and then we can write the equation. Because the equation is going to be y equals something x plus something, where the first box is the slope and the second box is the y-intercept. So, line C is the one that we're trying to find the equation of. Find the equation of line C. Okay, line C is perpendicular to line B. Okay, so this is just an indirect way of giving us the slope. So look, the slope of line B is 1/2. Okay, so what's the slope of line C? All right, so let's see. So line A has slope, hold on, let me write that slightly differently. I'll say slope, slope B. All right, slope B is 1/2. So what will be the slope of line C? All right, which is the one that we're supposed to actually find the equation for is line C. Well, because they are perpendicular, the slopes will be opposite and reciprocal. So slope C should be -2. Remember, the reciprocal of 1/2 would be like 2/1, but 2/1 is just 2, so -2. So this is the slope that we want. So m is equal to -2. All right? If they give you a perpendicular line, that's just an indirect way of giving you the slope. You just have to do the opposite and the reciprocal. The rest of the problem is the same as what we've done before. So for the y-intercept, we will say y equals mx plus b. We're looking for b. So we're going to get our x and our y from this point. So that's why I'm going to have 1 is equal to, and we just found that m was -2, and then 5 is the x, and then plus b. So that's 1 is equal to -10 plus b, and then if we add 10 to both sides, that gives us 11. So b is equal to 11. So m is -2, and b is 11. So that means the final answer is y equals -2x plus 11. All right, that's the answer for number 4. Okay, let's do one more problem on this video, and then we'll take a break and I'll put the rest on the next video. Write the equation of a line that goes through these 2 points. Now, we've already done a problem just like this. Okay, problem number 2 was the exact same type of thing. So I encourage you to pause the video and try to do this one by yourself. Okay, I'm just going to assume that you did that. So let's go ahead and set up our chart like we always do. All right, we will have slope m. And then we will have y-intercept b. And then we can write the equation. And when we write the equation, it'll be y is equal to something x plus something, where the first box is the slope and the second box is the y-intercept. So let's start with the slope. All right, the slope, maybe I'll put a little formula up here. The slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do right now. So that means my slope is going to be 2 minus -6. All right, notice the double negative here. I have 2 minus, but then the second y value is -6. So it has to be 2 minus -6. You really need that double negative there. And then 5 minus 3. Okay, so this is really going to be the same thing as 2 plus 6 over 5 minus 3. So that's going to be 8 over 2. So that's going to be 4. So the slope is 4. So we can go ahead and put that in right now. Now the y-intercept. So we will say y is equal to mx plus b. We're looking for b. So let's pick one of these points to use for the x and the y. I'm going to go ahead and pick this one. So I'll let this be x and I'll let this be y. So that's why I'm going to go 2 is equal to, well, the m is 4, the x is 5, plus b. So that's 2 is equal to 20 plus b. Subtracting 20 gives me -18. So b is -18. So that means my final answer is y is equal to 4x minus 18. Notice we do not say 4x plus -18. It's just 4x minus 18. If you put plus negative, you're going to lose points. So that's it for number 5. Alright you guys, that's going to do it for this video. Go ahead and click here in the red apple to jump to the next video in the playlist. Click here in the yellow apple to access the full playlist. And click here in the green apple to subscribe.